A new USA Today Pew poll shows that President Obama's numbers related to race relations are dropping. 50% of adults disapprove of Obama's handling of race relations, while 40% approve right now. However, in late August, shortly after the shooting death of Michael Brown, 48% approved of Obama's handling of race, while 40% disapproved. You know,
this guy can't catch a break, man. I mean, I can be equally critical and praiseworthy of Obama depending on the story. And here's a story where when blacks are perceived to have suffered injustices in this country and white people are sympathetic, then they think, great, Obama's doing a great job. But now they're irritated. They're irritated at the marching, right? They're pissed off that you're ganging up on the cops. And so when race relations actually when race relations in the country get worse, and they get worse almost completely because blacks feel marginalized and left out of the process for the 80th billionth straight time, right? Then they're like, Obama and race relations. When the blacks are just happy, when everybody's just, hey, everything's fine, then we like this guy on race relations. Obama has handled race relations exceedingly well in this presidency. That one of the few marks where I think you can unquestionably give him an A. And I'll hear from a bunch of people on Twitter that I'm wrong, but the fact is you're wrong, I'm right. But he can't catch a break with these people. And because things are tense now, that's not his fault.
Yeah, and by the way, those numbers didn't budge that much. It's only a couple of months, and they moved just a little bit.
Right, so but it's a reflection of the times, and now all of a sudden, much of the country, it seems like a racially tense time, and they're like, do you understand Obama's? No, I don't, because those prosecutors didn't do their job. Fucking Obama.
Can I just very quickly, Mike, a guy who works on my show is Mike McRae.
Very funny guy.
And he's very funny, and he's from St. Louis. And this is from him. He said, I was 5 minutes away from that mall protest today in St. Louis County at my aunt and uncle's houses. They told me that their neighbors used to employ a black housekeeper who lived in Ferguson. On her way to work, she had to drive through the richest part of town, Ladue. And she was pulled over so often that she eventually had to carry a letter with her from her client stating that she worked for them, and that's why she was driving on the road. So, yeah, I get it. Be pissed and God bless, Mike McRae.
I mean, that's it, right?
All she had to do was get a letter?
All she had to do was,
What a whiny black maid. That's an unbelievable story.
Yeah, I mean, that's an unbelievable story, but it also goes to the part that I think is addressing what you're saying, that these people are living with something on a day-to-day basis that doesn't get talked about a lot. You know what I mean? Like
Charles Barkley talks about it.
But really, it's hard for us actually to believe that.
Yes.
As three white people, it's incredibly difficult for me to believe that that's actually going on, and yet it clearly is.
Well, during slavery,
and this is the simmering thing that when nothing bad's going on, so to speak, people think that race relations are fine. But then when all hell breaks loose, then they go, race relations are.
During slavery, you used to have a permission to be on a public road if you were black, right? You had to have a pass. And so we still have that, I guess, in certain parts of the country.
Yes, for a time it was hard for me to imagine that black people got pulled over. But then just read enough. Like, that story's not untrue. Everything about that story makes it clearly true. JR, how many times have you been stopped?
I'd say 12 to 15 times.
12 times. JR, 12 times. He's a television producer, an internet producer, right? Mm-hmm. Been stopped 12 times. My hunch is I've committed more crimes in life than JR, right?
Correct.
Straight shooter, comes from a God-fearing family, right? You know, right? But he is black and he does have dreadlocks. So
I got pulled over.
Sorry, let me just finish real quickly. You got to be a little bit willfully ignorant to still feel the same. Like, there's information out there. You know, everybody, all you white people who say you aren't racist because you got a black friend, talk to that black friend, right? Call that black friend up. I bet you don't have his number. I'm just guessing. You're a really close black friend. You probably don't have his number. You just see him at work and go, hey, see the game Sunday, right? But if you do have his number, call him, and I bet he'll say to you, oh, no, I get stopped all the time. I get stopped all the time.
Let's just finish up with this real quick. Tavis Smiley was on Sean Hannity's program last night and had some choice words for President Obama.
With all due respect to our president, Barack Obama, black folk don't need lectures on black entertainment television. You go to black entertainment television, Mr. President, respectfully, to lecture black folk, and then you're wrong, respectfully, when you tell them that these things take time. Dr. King, who you have a bust of in the Oval Office, wrote a book called Why We Can't Wait. Stop telling black folk they got to wait and that these things take time. We can't wait, number one. Number two, Mr. President, respectfully, when you say we can't compare what's happening now to what happened 50 years ago, tell that to the parents of these kids who are being gunned down in America's streets. It is open season on
have a
black
message
men.
for the
And it
president.
is in many ways as bad as it was 50 years ago.
Well, respectfully, I get his point, but he is lecturing the president on Fox News, so I guess
He's like, you
irony
should. I don't think
is-
Tavis Smiley should go on Fox News. I don't think you should let Sean Hannity be able to say that I have a guy like Tavis Smiley on. That said, Tavis Smiley, like, that's a broadcaster. That's good. Like, that guy instantly commands your attention. And his point, which counters my point about Barack Obama getting an A on race relations, it's a good counterpoint.
So so the thing about Tavis Smiley is he's totally telling us a truth that we're not hearing anywhere else, that we need to hear, and that's being ignored. So what's going to happen is he'll be completely dismissed and probably kicked off public television. I look forward to Tavis Smiley's podcast.